Greetings, nerdlings, and welcome to AmalgamNation Presents World of Lorecraft, Elfcraft, Banshee lore. The first Banshees were former elf women who had been returned to a horrible spectral existence. More recently, they have arisen from females from other races and a few rare men. Physically, they appear as spectral elven women with wild flowing hair and long talon-like hands. Banshees have the unsettling ability to force their way into the bodies of living creatures, thus replacing the creature's spirits with their own. A Banshee who does this, however, loses its original form. They come in various hues of blue and purple, from the lightest sky blue to the darkest purple, and have glowing blue eyes. They apparently have no legs and instead have a bluish orb or sphere of energy, using it to float in midair. Most of them sport a see-through frock and large bracelets. More detailed lore behind the Banshees of Warcraft. When the Burning Legion and the Kaldoroi clashed in the War of the Ancients 10,000 years ago, many Night Elf women fell. Their brutal murders returned them as Banshees, and for millennia they wandered the world in lamentation, losing ever more of their dwindling sanity. Eventually the Lich King, Ner'zhul, learned of their existence and recruited them into the Scourge. Banshees fought in the Third War alongside other undead, and when Artus attacked Quel'Thalas, he found that he could make Banshees of High Elves as well. Banshees are undead spirits, many of them from High Elves, who were taken and enslaved by the Lich King after his conquest of Quel'Thalas. While under Ner'zhul's control, the Banshees were kept just aware enough so that they could experience the pain, desperation and anguish of their existence, and were then filled with a desire to spread that pain among the living. Most known for their chilling and deafening screams, Banshees can also cast a number of curses. After the Third War, the Lich King lost control of some of the Banshees, including their queen, Sylvanas Windrunner. Not long after Artus raised her as a Banshee, she broke from his control, taking fellow Banshees with her. She regained her physical body and established the Forsaken. This act gives many Banshees hope, and a strong cadre of free Banshees can now be seen serving with the Forsaken. Most Banshees still remain enslaved to the Lich King's will though, and can be found throughout the Plaguelands. Many wild unaffiliated Banshees exist. It is thought some Banshees wandered Azeroth long before the Scourge and were subjugated to the Lich King's will. This is supported by the presence of Banshees in ancient Kaldoroi ruins throughout Kalimdor, like Dire Maul. Banshees of Warcraft 3. Banshees were once beautiful female night elves who were brutally murdered by demons during the fall of Kalimdor. Their restless spirits were left to wander the world for many ages in silent, tortured lamentation. Over the years they became jealous of the living and seeded a deep hatred for all life. Yet when the Lich King, Ner'zhul, became aware of them, he gathered them together and promised them vengeance upon the living. Ner'zhul gave them terrible voices so that the living would finally hear their timeless anguish. Thus the Banshees have pledged themselves to the undead cause and serve as valuable warriors in the Scourge. The spectral Banshees can fly and are fond of hammering their enemies with tortured blasts of sonic force. Their unnerving, unholy screams can be heard from miles away. Mojo Storm Snout's Warcraft 3 Strategy Guide. Relation of Banshees to Dark Rangers. Sylvanas Windrunner, the first High Elf Banshee ever created by the Scourge, later regained her physical form to become a Dark Ranger. It is not explained how exactly this occurs, but it is implied that it had to do with Sylvanas replacing former Elven Ranger druidic knowledge with necromancy. Sylvanas' Dark Ranger form has been compared with Dark Elves by some fans, a race thought to have been the basis of her physical form. However, this is unconfirmed, though it's partially implied in Horde Player's Guide, where Dark Rangers are considered cousins to High Elves, and the idea of converting to Dark is given. Dark Elves do not exist in the Warcraft universe as such, though Ulhaik Hadanot is an example that the potential for a similar race is possible. Non-Elven Banshees. Although uncommon, according to the Manual of Monsters, it appears that it is possible for human women and even men from other races to become Banshees upon their death. Blind Mary and Nisa Agamand may be examples of such. Their undead model appears fully elven, like other Banshees. However, it may be just a matter of Blizzard not making special in-game models for those characters, and they may in fact just be ghosts, although most ghosts would use the same model of a transparent form of their race. In Warcraft 3, the enemy known as Ghost, seen in places such as the Barrow Deeps, used the Banshee model as well. Thank you for listening, I hope you've enjoyed. As always, remember, play to game and game to play.